SCPs are some of my very favorite creatures. The SCP Foundation is a secret organization entrusted by global governments to contain and study anomalous individuals, entities, locations, objects, and phenomena that defy natural law. SCP objects, if left uncontained, pose a threat to humans, or at the very least, to humanity's sense of reality and normalcy. These are 3 SCP creatures kept in containment. SCP-965, Object Class Euclid, also known as the Face in the Window. Containment Procedures. 965 is contained within a framed, ready-to-install window composed of at least 6 panes of clear glass. 965 must in turn be kept within an environment-controlled storage facility capable of withstanding significant seismic disturbances. The glass 965 is stored in should be inspected at least once per week to check for breakdown of the material. The lighting within the chamber containing 965 must be at a minimal of 130 lumens at any time personnel are within said chamber, except during research. While 965 is currently contained within the window, our inability to control its movement upon destruction of the window through means beyond proximity have prompted its elevation to Euclid status. Research into a more permanent means to contain 965 is ongoing. 965 is a visual manifestation that occurs within framed windows. This manifestation takes the shape of shadowed faces of an apparent pale-skinned male that is looking through the window. The exact details shown vary, as does the direction of orientation as well as the age of the person. However, sufficient detail shows it consistently be the same being at different points of its life, between the approximate ages of 10 and 55. Research into an individual matching 965 has thus far proven inconclusive. 965 will only appear when the relative lighting on the outside of the window falls below 5 lumens, regardless of lighting on the inside. Such terms are possible because the face will only appear in a fully assembled window frame, though it does not need to be currently installed. Thus far, 965 has shown an ability to intentionally move from one glass pane to another, even within the same installation. It is only able to obtain a new manifestation point upon the destruction of the current window it resides in. The face is visible from the outside portion of the window, but despite its two-dimensional nature, it is described as looking away into the room. Initial effects caused by 965 are reports of uneasy, nervousness, and low-grade paranoia. These sensations will overcome anyone within visual range, even if it is blocked by such curtains. Based upon reports to residents of the house where 965 was discovered, they encountered problems of sleeping. Experiments were conducted using D-class personnel who were made to sleep in a chamber where 965 window was installed. An individual that is sleeping in the area visible to 965 when it manifests will invariably have dreams of a disturbing nature, usually involve being chased, attacked, tormented, though without physical contact within the dream, with repeat incidents involving the same subject, as few as 3 but never more than 10 dream cycles before onset. 965 will begin manifesting with a more explicit smile than normal. After this point, the subject will begin complaining of heartburn or abdominal pain, and often begin to vomit blood or have blood in their bodily wastes. This is caused by the victim suffering ulcers and low-grade hemorrhaging throughout the varied locations in their gastrointestinal tract. The current hypothesis as to the cause of these afflictions is 965's influence artificially accelerates the body's reaction to elevated stress and fear levels. Subjects who advance to this stage have also reported continuing experience of facial manifestations in windows during dreams, as well in their peripheral vision while awake. Even after being removed from the vicinity of 965, most suffer from a low-grade but lasting feeling of paranoia, as well as sensations that they are being watched or followed. Whether this is in fact some remnant influence left behind of standard symptoms of distress followed by the traumatic intrusion of 965 into their psyche is under investigation. 965 have produced no noise to date, and there have been no reported instances of 965 imitating in any way once it appears. However, it is capable of disappearing and reappearing at will in different poses. 965 also shows signs of sentence. It has been observed to show disappointment if it manifests to an empty room, irritation or anger when manifesting before someone that had broken a prior 965 window, and one instance of visible fear when in the presence of Agent A, who had earlier participated in its retrieval. SCP-847, the Mannequin. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-847 is to be kept in a reinforced modified humanoid containment chamber for the purpose of ongoing behavioral studies. The room is to be fully furnished with a bed, dresser, couch, table, chair, full-length mirror, sink, shower, and toilet. The floor of the chamber is to be constructed with 1 cm exposed beams of copper, which can be electrified remotely. No meals are to be provided. All personnel posted to 847 must be armed with a shock baton. Only males identifying as such are to be assigned to or permitted with a 50-meter radius of 847. All personnel are prohibited for working with, handling, or approaching 847 for their own safety and well-being. When assigning personnel to 847, preference is given to men who are not sexually attracted to women. 847 is a human female mannequin, 146 centimeters tall and 27 kilograms in mass. Constructed of human hair and an unknown composite fibrous polymer that abrades and shatters similar to porcelain. Exploratory laparoscopy of 847 shows the presence of internal structures resembling an incomplete set of bones, organs, and major blood vessels, composed of the same polymer. Small amounts of black, volatile resin similar to plastination compounds leak from the eyes and damaged regions of the mannequin. 847 is normally at some level of despair, with shattered areas of the torso, head, and limbs. 847 is animate and moves with the erratic, stiff motions when shuddering to maintain balance. It demonstrates different behaviors depending on the genotypical sex and identifying gender of the nearby humans. These behavioral patterns are grouped as Pattern Z, Pattern Y, and Pattern X. Pattern Z behaviors occur when there is no humans within 50 meters. 847 remains inanimate and silent 99.5% of the time under these conditions. When animate, 847 will dress in any available clothes, stand in front of any available full-length mirror, and return to an inanimate state, adopting a pose that showcases the outfit worn. It favors clothing which is designated for young women and which leaves ample skin exposure. On rare occasions, 847 will scratch short messages on nearby surfaces with a finger. Pattern Y behaviors are adopted when there are male subjects, but no female subjects within 50 meters, independent or intervening obstacles. Initial stage behaviors involve emitting vocalization, resembling high-pitched whimpers and gasps, and adopting more provocative poses. Occasionally, shudders can be observed during this time. After 3 to 5 minutes of this initial stage, 847's behavior enters a secondary stage, during which it becomes fully animate, approaching any male subject, adopting a hunched pose and appearing to look up into the subject's eyes. Vocalization during this period becomes more frequent and longer in duration. Subjects are able to handle and freely alter or pose 847 during this time. When posed, it holds the new posed as balance allows. The final stage of Pattern Y behavior occurs approximately 5 minutes after all subjects have left the 50-meter perimeter of 847. It will then shatter select portions of its body and extract internal structures. Once shattering of this extraction is complete, it emits sobbing vocalization and returns to Pattern Z behaviors. Pattern X behaviors occur when any female subject approaches within 50 meters, independent of intervening obstacles. Whether male subjects are present or not, 847 will emit vocalizations resembling distressed grunts and screeches, immediately animate and physically attack the woman. During Pattern X behaviors, 847's strength and speed are greatly increased with sprints of up to 48 kilometers per hour. During an attack, 847 will occasionally shatter an appendage, usually a finger or toe, in order to produce a sharp edge. Furthermore, plastination resin is released from its eyes, mouth, and shattered sections of its body. Resin falls in open wounds, resulting in quick hardening of soft tissues that spread until the victim's body reaches a composite or a similar polymer as 847. Following plastination, 847 will harvest select body parts from the victim corresponding to damaged sections of its own body. It will fuse these parts to its body via the resin. Not all damaged sections will be repaired in this way. Upon completion of harvesting, 847 will return to pattern Y or pattern Z behaviors. SCP-939, also known as with many voices, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-939 are 9 creatures, and they are kept in a cell, 10 meters by 10 meters by 3 meters. The cells are environmentally regulated and negatively pressurized, with walls constructed of reinforced concrete. Access to these cells is regulated by an outer decontamination chamber and an inner gas-tight steel security doors. Observation windows are constructed of laminate ballistics glass, protected by electrified mesh. Humidity is maintained at 100% at a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius. Specimens are monitored at all times via infrared cameras. Level 4 authorization is required to access 939, their containment areas, or the observation chambers. The containment cells should be cleaned bi-weekly. While this takes place, 939 specimens will be transferred to the adjacent cell. During this time, the cell's door and observation window must be inspected for damage and repaired or replaced accordingly. Heavy sedation of all 939 is required before any interaction, including transfer between cells and experimentation. Hazmat gear is to be worn by personnel during interactions with 939 and in any areas which 939 have been known to inhabit. Afterwards, standard decontamination procedures are to be observed by all personnel involved to ensure no secondary spread of amnesia agents occur. Class D personnel interacting with 939 for any length of time are required to wear 2 waterproof electronic pulse monitors for the duration of such interaction. These pulse monitors will transmit to a wireless monitoring system independent of a facility's main power grid, with at least 1 backup power system on standby. Should both an individual's pulse monitors flatline or otherwise malfunction, the wearer will be presumed dead. Personnel instructed to disregard all the wearer's subsequent vocalizations, and a breach of containment declared automatically. Security personnel responding to such a breach are likewise required to wear these pulse monitors. Additionally, all live 939 specimens must be implanted with a subdermal tracking device upon capture. 939 are capable of generating internal heat. They are pack-based predators that have skin that is similar to a cave-dwelling mammal. The skins of 939 are highly permeable to moisture, and their skins look translucent red. Owing to a compound chemically similar to hemoglobin, 939s average 2.2 meters tall, standing upright and weighing in on an average 250 kilograms. The weight is highly variable. Each of their 4 limbs end in 3-fingered claws with the 4th opposable digit, and are covered in stiff bristle-like hair, which considerably augment climbing ability. Their heads are elongated, devoid of even vestigial eyes or eye sockets, and contain no brain casing. The jaws of 939 are lined with red, faintly luminescent fang-like teeth, up to 6 centimeters in length, and encircled by heat-sensitive pit organs. Eye spots, sensitive to light and dark, run the length of their spinal dorsal ridges. These spines may be up to 16 centimeters long and are believed to be sensitive to changes in air pressure and flow. 939 does not possess many vital organ systems. Central nervous systems, circulatory systems, and digestive tracts are all absent. 939 have no apparent psychological need to feed, nor any way to digest consumed tissue. Ingested material typically accumulates in the respiratory system of 939 and is regurgitated once the amount is sufficient to inhabit its functions. Despite the absence of many vital organ systems, 939 are capable of bearing live young. 939's primary method of luring prey is the imitation of human speech in the voices of prior victims, though imitation of other species are active nocturnal hunts, and active nocturnal hunts have been documented. 939 vocalizations often imply significant distress. Whether 939 understands their vocalizations or are repeating previously heard phrases is the subject of an ongoing study. How 939 acquires voices is not currently understood. Specimens have been documented imitating victims despite never hearing the victim speak. Analysis of 939 vocalizations cannot distinguish between 939 and samples of known victims. The use of biometric, voice recognition, security, or identification systems at any installation house 939 is strongly discouraged for this reason. Prey is usually killed with a single bite to the cranium or neck. 939 exhales minute traces of aerosol Class C amnesiac, designed, causing temporary antegrade amnesia, inhibiting memory for the duration of the exposure. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. In a well-ventilated or open-air environments, risk of exposure to this amnesiac is greatly reduced, but not negligible. This amnesiac is typically undetectable in the bloodstream. Reported sensations of disorientation and mild hallucinations immediately follow removal of the environment saturated with the agent are similar to the recreational use of numerous psychoactive substances and is easily mistaken as such. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please contact me on Twitter.